folks, looks like we're live. We'll be getting started in a couple minutes. Now is a great time to go enter the giveaway. Only need to do it once per stream, so do it now, and you don't have to worry about doing it later. Alrighty, looks like it's 1 o'clock. So time for us to get started. Welcome again. As always, I am your host, Black6, and today we are finishing up our month-long build of the LEGO Colosseum. This is our 5th stream. Did a little math the other day, and it looks like we've spent about a little over 13 hours so far building this thing. You know, part of that is doing the whole stream thing, like talking like I am now and not building. I was just looking at the length of the stream. But still, that's a lot of time spent on a single set. We've got, I believe, 5 bag numbers left, 36 through 40. And about that much of the instructions in our last instruction book. So yeah, it's coming together. I believe we've still got like 4 more sections or so of the horrible repetitive stuff that we've been doing for the past, I think like 3 weeks. The first week was all the base, and then after that it kind of got repetitive again and again and again. So no need to dilly-dally. See how this thing finishes up. Hope everyone has been having a good week. Enjoying the weather, if it's been as nice where you are as it is here in Maryland. Absolutely gorgeous the past few days. Got a little too warm for my personal tastes, but you know, obviously everyone's got their own preferences. But yeah, you know, it's feels like spring is just running by, trying to take us straight to summer. Alright, there we go. Got our picture up. So what has everyone been up to the past week? Anything fun, exciting? How are you guys all enjoying the weather? I'm watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Episode 2 came out yesterday. Been interesting. Maybe I think the second episode picked up a little bit. Oh, the first episode was a little slow. And of course, we also got news that Black Widow movie is going right to Disney Plus. I mean, we'll still have the theatrical release, but also will be in their, what is it, the Premier Access program. So if you don't feel safe going to the movie theater, you just have to spend, what was it, like $30 or something to watch it at home. And I feel like this is probably going to be the actual best test of that idea so far. Like, I think the other movies they tried doing it with were not really quite big enough to justify it. I never really had a chance of succeeding too much. But I think Black Widow is definitely gonna draw some numbers. I think I could fit a basketball in here. Oh, definitely. Basketball and room to spare. I would say like this is like good sized watermelon would fit in here very nicely. This is not a small set by any means, as indicated by how long it's been taking us to build. So what's been going on the past week? I believe it was earlier this week. Or was it last week? We had the no, I guess it was this week. Had the new space shuttle reveal. I'm very excited for that set. It's probably one I'll be picking up myself so I can get it as soon as possible. Sucker for all things NASA when it comes to LEGO sets. So definitely excited for that one. Hopefully I can get the gift with purchase Ulysses solar probe. But if not, oh well. I'm not gonna like go crazy over it because I know those things have been selling out really fast. So if it happens, it happens. If not, oh well. But looking forward to the set for sure. It looks like it's going to be a real fun build compared to, say, for example, this set. And then we also had the new Star Wars helmet sets get revealed this week. And the probe droid. Those are more like eventually purchases. I mean, I do love Star Wars. But the sets aren't quite as much must-buys as some of the others. 36. Shaping up to be a fairly quick bag. This is one of, I guess, the more crumbly bits. So, fewer details than some of the other parts. Alright, there we go. That's gonna go in here eventually. Moving on now to bag 37. Which feels like, you know, the 37th time I've built the same thing. This one is going to have the candlestick columns on the back. It will be 6 studs wide instead of 4, so more pieces in this instance. Wow, there's only 2 more of these sections after this. And I can be finally rid of it. So what else has been going on outside of new LEGO sets? Personally, I finally finished the original series of Dune books. The one's written by Frank Herbert. His son, Brian Herbert, and Kevin J. Anderson have written many sequels at this point. Have not dived into those yet, but I probably will at some point. But with the new movie coming out now this fall, I think in October, after it got pushed back from last year, I'm like, yeah, I should probably read these books. They've only been around for 40 years or so, or more. I guess the first book came out in like the 60s, so. Oh, this is interesting. We actually got something a little different in our build down at the base here. So normally, let's see, I guess you can kind of see. So like normally down here, these archways are open, but in the one we're assembling now, it's going to be closed off. Not sure what, if any, significance there is to that, but we'll have to find out. So anyway, yeah, definitely, if you're into sci-fi, recommend checking out the Dune series if you're like me and have been sitting on it for a while. There are definitely a lot of thought-provoking science fiction. And the books definitely get very different as you go through. There's 6 of them that Frank Herbert wrote. And by the time you get to that 6th one, you're in a very different place. But it's still all very much like the Dune universe. And yeah, so after reading all those, I decided to watch the original Dune movie from 1984, directed by David Lynch. That was an experience. Watched that last night. Definitely a very 80s movie. Not sure. Well, okay, now I'm positive that all of the effects do not hold up in the past 30 years. Some of them do. There's a few that were surprising. Probably, more of the practical stuff. That still looks good. And apparently it was never very well received. And I can see why. Lynch definitely had a vision for the film, and definitely took it in an artistic direction that confused me at times. But obviously, hey, this is his movie. I think at the core of it, he captured the story of the book fairly well, the first book, which is impressive. I mean, it's a long movie, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of material in the book that you have to kind of collapse into any sort of film. And it was impressive how much he was able to do and make it able to be followed. There were a few changes he made that personally I found, oops, got carried away there, don't need those. Personally I found a little confusing. Maybe just head scratching, did we really need to make that change? But again, his film, not mine, so I'm talking about Dune from 1984, directed by David Lynch. As someone who enjoyed the book, I'll just say, like, at the end of the day, I think it is, like, impossible to come up with a perfect adaptation of that book into a film, just because of all of, like, the internal monologues and, like, passages from books and stuff that are, like, you know, fictional books within the universe that are inserted into it. Like, I don't know how you can really put all that detail and information across in a film, so I applaud Lynch for the very, like, in-depth attempt he made, and the fact that I think, you know, you're able to follow the story pretty well is very impressive. And now I'm really curious to see how the one that comes out this fall does. From what I've read, it's only based on, like, the first half of the first book, which, you know, obviously kind of makes it like a more manageable amount of content to cover. I still feel like it's one of those things where just, like, all of the things that in the book that are, like, you know, thoughts inside people's heads and stuff, and just kind of, it's always hard to relay that in a film. So we'll see what they kind of choose to do with the new version. In the David Lynch version, they actually do, like, quite a bit of, like, narration over the top of what's going on to kind of be like, here's this person's internal monologue. And I think that's probably something that did not go over well with movie-going audiences. As, like, someone who enjoyed the book, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I can kind of understand now where they're going with it. But I can see where that, you know, kind of makes it harder to watch, because you're, you know, it's telling instead of showing, which is generally like a no-no as far in filmmaking. And so if you have to really spell everything out for the audience, it kind of pulls them out of the movie. So we'll see how if they can avoid that in this fall. I think the new trailer for the film looks awesome. I think they've got, like, a pretty solid cast so far. So I'm gonna, you know, try to stay optimistic, but, like, cautiously optimistic. As I've been saying, like, it's definitely a hard thing to adapt, so I don't want to get my hopes up too high. But, like, they actually had a pretty solid cast in the original one too. Like, there's a couple of the actors I knew were in the movie beforehand, but then there were a few that, like, I'm just watching and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Patrick Stewart's in this movie. And this was, you know, 1984, so this was, like, before Star Trek: The Next Generation came out. So while he was already like, you know, a well-respected actor, I don't think he had quite reached the level he did thanks to Star Trek until after this. And yeah, he was there. Sean Young, who was, I guess, doing a lot of work in the 80s, probably best known, at least for me, for her role in Blade Runner. So yeah, she is in there. Dean Stockwell, who is like a perennial sci-fi actor. You know, again with the 80s, I remember him growing up watching Quantum Leap. With now his name is escaping me. The guy who played Captain Archer in Star Trek Enterprise. Yeah, the two of them were in Quantum Leap, so he was in Dune, which yeah, I was not aware of. Quite a few solid actors, and then there were some others who I was not familiar with, but I think they all did a pretty good job. Like, I think a lot of the acting was very solid. It was more the directorial choices, I think, that probably resulted in not doing as well as it could have. Scott Bakula, yes. I think it's a K, not a C, but you're close. And then Toto did the music for it, and soundtrack was really good. Like there's a lot, you know, if you can understand that it is an 80s movie, and a lot of the, you know, computer effects are very 80s. I think it's watchable. There are definitely some moments that were like, ooh, yeah, this is not aging well, but others that were like, yeah, okay, I dig it. I will say, again, just from the trailer, since that's really all we have for the new film, is that I feel like they capture the look that I was imagining for the film, or for the universe, much better than they did in the 80s. One of the things I'm planning on watching between now and the film's release was in the early 2000s, the Sci-Fi Channel, back before they changed the spelling, did couple of mini-series on pretty much adapting, I think, the first 3 books in the series. So plan on picking those up and watching those at some point to see how that compares. I've heard much better things about that one than the 1984 film, but I figured I'd go in order. Try to keep myself as unbiased as possible. Close to finishing up bag 37 here. As we get a little closer, we'll put up our giveaway link. We'll do our first giveaway for today after we finish this bag. Let's go put that giveaway link back up. Got some more Star Wars buildable figures up for grabs today. together. And build a little connective tissue between them. Alright, there we go. Nice smooth joining top there. And so that's going to go right there. Looks like we might only have one more section to do, not two more. So we're going to go ahead, open up bag number 38. And then we will pick our first winner for today. I've not seen any mocks of like the, I guess, original Colosseum, the non-ruined state, but that doesn't mean they're not out there. Wouldn't be surprised if some, Italian AFOLs made that happen. Let's go ahead, turn that giveaway link off, and find out who our first winner is going to be today. Alright, congratulations to Dollar, who has won a Boba Fett buildable figure. It's a pretty awesome one. Some nice light gray, sand green pieces that weren't really available in many other sets. So congratulations, Dollar. Should all know the drill by now. We'll send you an email. Send us your email or your mailing address. That'd be weird if you sent your email address back. I already have that. And we'll get you your prize. Alright, so it looks like the last section here is trying to be quite different from the others. It's going to make me really have to pay attention to the build. Which is, probably how it should have been the whole time, but we are where we are. Or just the first two steps were different, and now the rest is going to be the same. Hey there, Toa Pie. Welcome. You're more than allowed to lurk. Lurking is accepted. Alright, this section is definitely a good bit different than the others. So that's cool. It's about time that we had some nice variety in our builds of these sections. Took until the very last one to get there. Some interesting shaping here. and the different arch pieces. I'm definitely appreciating that it's something different. feel like they should have put this section like more, I don't know, in the middle somewhere of this build. Kind of help break things up. Because while there is certainly still some similarities to all these other sections we've built, it's also at the same time like, alright, so I can see where this is similar to what I've just did 50,000 times, but it's just different enough. Like I have to pay attention and it's like engaging me. It's like, okay, I can see how this will fit in with all of those other sections. But it's still not exactly the same. Are getting a very plain wall on this side. I'm kind of breaking it up with some of these like masonry bricks a little bit, but overall it's fairly boring compared to most of the other outside walls. Not that that's a bad thing. In this case, or at this point, I would say anything that's different is good in my book. Just in general, the design is plain. The build has been interesting though, so that's good. Alright, so I guess this section is done enough that we can connect it. Oh, and break off this part. There we go. So you can see the pretty stark contrast there from all the archways to the solid wall here. And you can also see the difference I was talking about before, where most of these archways are open, but this one they were closed off, which is kind of a big difference there. And it looks like we do still have one more of these to build. And it is just going to be a bit smaller than the ones we have been building to, I guess, be more on scale with like just this front part here. Yeah, this last section is going back more towards how these lower sections were assembled. It's kind of all coming back to me as I'm reassembling it. Like, oh yeah, I remember having to do this 5 dozen times. It is interesting we're doing all this detail and then a good chunk of it's going to be kind of hidden behind the wall, but we'll know it's there because we spent all these hours building it. Stay. Alright, now I get to attach. In there, yep. This section over here keeps wanting to fall off, not very sturdy. Alright, add some details in here. Then, looks like it's going to be time to connect this to our main assembly. And that will more or less complete the wall. Alright, let's adjust this angle a bit here. And yeah, so you can see that on this one we have these different socket joints that can slide onto the ball joint a little more easily from the side. So we should make things easier to connect here. So we got 2 mixel joints on this one. There we go. And then we can just kind of slide that on. All right. One last detail here, and we're going to be done with bag 38. Only 2 bags to go. Add this little guy in here. All right. So now we're done with all this repetition, and now it looks like we get to fill in a lot of the other little empty spots. So we've got like all these gray 1x3 jumpers around the edges. Those are going to get covered up, and then like over here and here we've got these 1x1 tan plates. Those are all going to get something on them. So in bag 39 here that we're opening up, it's got like a lot of these window pieces, a lot of 1x1 bricks, and 1x4 tiles. So we're going to kind of smooth out everything. I'm sure there's some slopes and stuff hiding in here, so we're going to have some variations in different sections to give it that crumble-leavable look. And yeah, it looks like we're starting. I'll figure out exactly where it is we're starting. I think we're starting like right over here, adding like some window kind of things. Alright, so move that there for now. Move you back down here so you can see all the little assemblies I'm gonna put together. is a situation where it is definitely nice to have longer arms to be able to reach all the way across onto the model there. Where does this tile go? All the way over here. Just kind of going willy-nilly around the outside edge. Don't forget to add some water. Oh, now I get to build 15 of these assemblies. So they're going to be kind of similar to what we did here without the little cheese slips. It's just one solid assembly that's going to kind of go around the entire edge. So a different sort of repetition. I'm not sure that this build would hold water. I don't think it has good enough seals for that. I'm not sure why my mind just made this mental jump, but I said seals, it reminded me that another actor who was in the 1984 Dune was Sting. Not necessarily known for his acting, but yeah, he was in there. I think that was one of the people I did know about going into the film. It was kind of like David Lynch's Dune with Sting. Alright, 61 by 1 bricks in this step. Honestly though, I feel like this is the kind of thing I would have rather been doing all along. Instead of like, open one bag of parts, build this whole assembly, open another bag of parts, build that same assembly again. Like I would have rather open one bag of parts, build the same thing 20 times. Because I could have built, you know, kind of assembly lined it. Whereas when you're doing one bag at a time, it's, you know, I guess in theory, you could have opened up several bags at the same time and done an assembly line, but that would have required a lot more space to do it in, and a lot more attention to detail and like little discrepancies that might exist between different versions. So I much prefer kind of doing the assembly line build to just the same whole thing over and over again. That got me thinking paleo though. It'd be kind of cool if you could like vacuum form like a sheet of plastic onto this and essentially make it like, I don't know, a dog bowl for water or a bird bath or something. Have your golden retriever drink out of the Colosseum. And also keep it from getting dusty. Yeah, go with the ship in the bottle design. there are a lot, you know, all these archways do eventually go from the inside to the outside, so I would be curious to see how many 1x1 round plates you could fit in the middle before they started coming out the sides. Only one way to find out. No, I'm definitely not going to do that because then I have to clean it all up afterwards. Alright, so now I've built 15 of these assemblies. For 83 of the Colosseum build, yes. It does make me wonder a little bit about like how sturdy the overall build will be. Like, could I just turn it upside down and try to dump out all of the studs? Alright, so now we're doing something similar to what we did 15 times. Now we're doing like 8 times. I'm not sure if that's exactly where these two go, but those two are one-offs and the rest we're only doing 8 times. And they're pretty much the same, just they have a plate on the bottom to go on top of these 1x3 tiles I was talking about earlier. Just got 1x1 bricks in this tray now. Now what do I get to do several times? I guess one good thing you can say about all this is no stickers. So there's that. Looks like we are just about done here with bag 39. So once I install these little wall sections, we'll put our giveaway link back up again. Go. And after we finish bag 39 here, which looks like this is the last step maybe. So lots of little bits and bobs here. Oh no, it looks like there's going to be at least one more step after this one. Stop making a lot of noise. What has been my experience with Lego and cats? Unsure about building near or being in the same room as completed sets. So I might remember used to have some cats that lived with me, and I would say overall, I guess it definitely depends on the cat, obviously, right? So I can't say for sure how your fiance's cat is going to react. Generally speaking, from my experience, you know, cats will only jump up places if they can like see where they're going. So, you know, if it's kind of a more out of the way place, or for example, like I have I have a couple more tables about the size of this work area that are just like more or less covered with Lego sets and parts, and the cats would never really jump up there because they didn't really have a good angle. They couldn't see. They could see there was stuff on the edge, and so they wouldn't jump up there. So I never really had an issue with them jumping onto, you know, like those kind of spaces. That said, I would always close the door to my Lego room anytime I was, you know, leaving it, so the cats weren't allowed in the Lego room on their own. Now I also do have Lego sets kind of displayed throughout the house, and for the most part I never really had that many problems with them. And it does depend on the model. You know, if it's like a pirate ship, I would be more hesitant. I'm sure I'm not supposed to build two of these. I'd be more hesitant, or something that had like antennas and sails, because that's something that if the cat can get near, it's gonna be like, oh, I can, you know, chew on this. And I have had both the cats that used to come on stream with me, and others when growing up that would chew on antennas and other little parts like that. So you do have to watch out for that. But like, say for example, the 1989 Batmobile, right? Like, never had any problems with that because there's not really anything on there for the cats to chew on. So, you know, it kind of depends on the set. And also like kind of how you have it displayed. So if it's something where if it's an area where the cats can normally get to, then you might have to worry about it. Never really had any problems with cats trying to, like, say, knock pieces off, or knock sets like off the table, like playing with it. Maybe if you had like some smaller ones, like if you had like a brickhead set on like a desk or something, maybe they would be interested in playing with that and knock it off, but that's never something I ran into. Alright. So that is it. We're on the last bag. So we've got a giveaway to do, so let's turn off that link. And pick our next winner. So yeah, like this set, I honestly wouldn't have a lot of issues. I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of issues with the cat. I would say the biggest thing, we're kind of joking about it before, or other person on the stream, would be the cat like climbing into this and like curling up in it. Congratulations to Makuta Oroki. You have won an Elite TIE Fighter pilot buildable figure. As always, we'll be in touch to get you that prize. And yeah, so it's honestly, it would be more things I would worry about the cat like unintentionally doing, right? Like just trying to curl up in here and potentially doing damage, not necessarily something malicious. Another thing you definitely will have to worry about, you know, is the dust problem, right? Lego sets get pretty dusty as it is, and cat hair is not going to make that any easier. There are definitely some sets that I had like in my bedroom that I never had any problems with the cats, you know, again, eating, chewing, attacking, anything like that. But yeah, they would get very dusty. Now we're adding all the last little details. We're adding some bushes now to the outside, it looks like. Or maybe trees, kind of hard to tell the scale. I mean, yeah, just having a cat in general means you're gonna have to be cleaning more. unless you get like you know, super short hair kind of cat, or one of those poor hairless cats. I think a lot of these little gray studs we're adding on now are, I thought we were going to be using some other green pieces to make more trees, but maybe I was wrong. I thought I remember looking at the front of the box and seeing some of those like CCBS spike pieces being used, but I guess it's just these cones. Alright, so I guess these 1x1 cones here are supposed to be shrubs, and then like this is supposed to be a bigger tree. I'm gonna make some smaller trees here with 2 cones per each one. Now it looks like we're just kind of slowly making all these different tree variations here, tree and shrub variations to populate the front. Still have, we're going to make a cover for part of this too. last tree variant. I feel like I messed up the placement of some of these. Maybe not. Just kind of the angle the instructions show. Changes in each step here. Alright, yeah, I guess I got all the little gray 1x1 round plates covered up, so that should be all of the trees. Alright. Now we get to make some cars. A very simple car design, just a jumper and a tile. Apparently they have to weave through the trees here. Alright, I think that's it for the little details. Now it's time to make that last big assembly there. It's going to be the cover. I guess I'm calling it a cover. I'm not sure what its actual purpose is. It's going to have the effect of covering up part of the lower area there. Piece. Normal brick. Oh, so this is kind of interesting. So we've just built this. It's got some candlesticks coming in the back, so it's going to be able to go in there. But to finish off the edge, we're going to be doing some interesting snot work, it seems. So you've got these 1 by 1 by, what are they, like 1 2/3 bricks with 2 studs on the side. We're alternating those to be able to connect to the piece we already made. And then give us a nice edge to put like some tiles on, I assume. So half of the studs connecting onto here. And now we have a bunch of studs here to make a nice clean edge. Hey there, Toa Kohakanuva. Welcome, welcome. Looks like this is the last little bit here. We're gonna finally be done with the Colosseum. Just gotta figure out how that lines up. Looks about like that. Yep. All right. And so our cover piece goes onto here. Not sure. I guess it's supposed to go on these 1 by 1 round plates with the bars. So kind of tricky here to line it up when you can't see underneath it. Oh, there we go. Hey there, LaRuca. Congrats on being a winner earlier. All right, and yeah, that's it for our Colosseum build. So let's go ahead, turn off the picture-in-picture. We've got one more giveaway to do for today, so let's put that link back on. And take a look at this thing. It is quite a sight to behold. So here are all of our extra pieces, by the way. I've been keeping those separate. Lots of tan, got lots of 1x1 plates, 1x1 round plates, of course. It's kind of interesting because a year or two ago, LEGO kind of stopped putting more than one extra of a certain type in a set. So you'd only get like one extra 1x1 round plate, but I guess when you just have so many of the same piece, they kind of had to increase the number of extras you get just by like the total number of parts. I'm sure there's some sort of percentage formula that they do. So like for every 100 or so 1x1 round plates, you have to have like one extra or something like that. I'm sure they have the calculation there. So the only really extra pieces that jump out as being interesting are we have that pale yellow 1x1 tile. You do get a bunch of the roller skate pieces in dark tan that were used in the columns. Alright, so yeah, so we got some nice scenery around the bottom that we just did. And let's see if we can spin this. I think, if you guys remember from the earlier builds, there were some 2x4 plates, oh, and then I broke it already, underneath that kind of help add some support to the base, and I think a couple of those have popped off because I can kind of feel them scraping along the bottom as I spin this. And there's the back. I guess it's the back. I guess there's not really a front or back. Kind of like more impressive almost from this side because it's not as crumbly. But this was horrible to build. Like it was just so repetitive. Doing each of these sections is essentially the same thing, especially the back portion is pretty much the same thing from each section, but with like tiny little differences. Like the first 3 levels are like all the same, and then like the last level will have some differences. I'm not sure how obvious it is from here, but you can see like this one's got a window and this one doesn't. Window, no window, window, no window. So it's like it just kind of alternates. But you're just doing like the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm so glad to be done with that. It looks great, but it's just a huge pain to build there. And I guess yeah, that's a good point. I did not make that connection to a pie. Is that, yeah, the pale yellow car could be the Fiat 500. Which was a set LEGO made a year or two ago, and it has in that set, like it has an easel and like a canvas, and there has a painting of the Colosseum in there, so this kind of like ties it together. That's a really cool point. Why does it look like a LEGO cat bed? Yeah, no, I think it could definitely be a LEGO cat bed. I'm not sure how comfy the cat would be sleeping on the stuff in here. That would probably get broken off pretty quickly as the cat tried to get comfortable. If you wanted to modify it and make the whole thing a flat surface, I think the cat would definitely love it, where you could put just like a little cushion in the bottom. Definitely it could be a cat bed. I've seen plenty of memes that people have come up with for this set here that what it could be used as. One thing is, we see like the nice black edge along the bottom underneath the dark gray. On the sides here, there are some slopes to kind of give you room to fit your fingers in. So in theory, you can lift this up. Oh, no pieces fell off, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, definitely you can carry it around. One thing, I'm not sure how much you could see when that happened, but I could kind of see the entire thing just like kind of bending like this as I lifted it up. I could definitely see it in like some of these sections as the gaps got a little closer together as I lifted. So it's maybe a little concerning for movability. Let's see if I can get this up with one hand here. All right, yeah, so you can balance it on one hand. Not sure how long I want to do that for, but it is, oh, there's one of those 2x4 plates falling off. Now let's see if I can figure out where that came from. Let's see how sturdy it is with this sturdiness test. Oh, nope, you do not want to do that. All right, so you want to keep it flat and level. You can see we got a part here that fell off, or disconnected, I guess. And there was a little window piece in there somewhere that popped off when that happened. And now I can't see where it ended up. Over here. Brick separator to the rescue. Alright, so do not tilt the Colosseum on its edge. Let this be a warning to you. Those back in place. There we go. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna get that 2x4 plate back on then, but we'll figure something out. Yeah, so that is the Colosseum. Hummus in the middle, veggies along the sides. Ooh. Yes, definitely some fun ideas. Can make a nice fruit spread or a veggie spread in here. And I guess the hummus would be kind of appropriate. That's like a Rome Mediterranean sort of thing. So overall thoughts, I think it looks fantastic now that it's done. Definitely will make a good display piece. But you know, those of you who have been coming back for the past month every weekend while we've been building this, well, you know, you've heard me complaining about just all the repetitiveness of it. So it's definitely hard to recommend from a building perspective, because it's just like so tedious. Like if you're gonna take a really long time to build this, then maybe, you know, you won't run into the frustrations and like repetitiveness that I did. If you do like one bag a week, that's going to take you a year to build because it's 40 bags. So I guess you'll get your money's worth out of that there, and it might remove some of the tedium from it, but I can't imagine that getting rid of all of the tedium, because it is a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. And like it makes sense, you know, for what it is, for the build that it is, that it has to be that way. And you know, for as large of a set as it is, to get the amount of detail they wanted into, you know, there's obviously going to be some repetition in all these sections. Like I can understand that, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't boring to build at times and mind-numbing as you're doing the same thing over and over again with just like minor discrepancies and changes between the different sections. Like if I was in charge of Lego for a day kind of thing, what I would do would be to shrink it down, just make it smaller. This set is $550, over 9,000 parts. Shoot for like a $250 price point with like 3,000 parts. Yeah, there's still going to be some repetition, but it's just going to be less of it, which will make the overall, I think, build experience, in my opinion, be better. Yeah, it won't be quite as cool, as eye-catching, this, that, the other thing, sure, but I think it'll be more fun to build like that. That's just my 2 cents. You guys have been watching me build it. You know, you can kind of hopefully come to your own conclusions. You've seen a lot of what it takes to build it. Kind of hopefully decide for yourselves whether or not it's something worth saving up for, or worth taking the time to build, kind of thing. From a parts pack perspective, I guess if you're looking for a lot of tan parts, $550 for 9,000 parts is a great deal, especially if you love 1x3 arches and masonry bricks, 1x2 slopes, 1x3 plates, 2x3 plates. There's lots and lots and lots of those. I can tell you from experience. Lots of 1x1 bricks. I guess it could be a good value for that, but I can't imagine anyone buying this set just for the parts, or buying it and then like immediately taking it apart for the parts. This is definitely meant to be a display piece. If you want those tan parts, you can probably get them for cheaper from like Bricklink or Lego Bricks and Pieces kind of thing, or something along those lines. All right, put some Glitterian inside. All right, so we got one more giveaway to do, so let's go ahead and turn off that link, see what else we got in the chat here. Yes, definitely painful to build. What the target audience for this is? Yeah, I think LEGO has been targeting a lot more of like adult professionals with these quote-unquote 18 plus sets, where they're not like AFOLs, like those of us deep in the community who are parts of sites like BZPower or Brickset and stuff like that. More casual fans who like walk by a mall, once you can get to malls again, or browsing online, and they see it and they're like, oh man, I remember when I went to Rome and I got to see the Colosseum and it was great, and how cool would it be to have that in LEGO? And I'm a 30-something professional with disposable income, so I can spend $550 on it and put it in my Manhattan loft that I pay $2,500 a month for my 1-bedroom apartment, or whatever the situation is. I feel like that is kind of the audience they're going for. And apparently there's a lot of those people out there, because you've seen a lot of the sets they released last year during the pandemic were all selling out super fast. So there's clearly a market for this sort of audience for this kind of set. What else we got in? It's pretty much what you did when building the UCS Falcon, but I feel like the Falcon's probably less repetitive. I would love to build the Falcon someday. We'll see if I ever convince myself to invest $800 in it. But I do feel like the Falcon probably has at least some variation. I mean, there's sure some symmetry one side to the other, but even then I feel like because of all of the battle damage and wear and tear on it, probably makes it a bit different than this set. If you want Tan Colosseum is yours, yeah. Yeah, maybe someday we'll do a Falcon live build. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I promised one more giveaway. Turn off that giveaway link. So let us pick that last winner. All right, Brickus15, congratulations, you've won an Imperial Death Trooper buildable figure, so we'll be getting in touch with you to get you that prize. All right, so thanks again, everyone, for watching us build this over the past month, past 5 weekends that we've been assembling this. We're taking next weekend off. We'll not be doing a live build, but we do have some sets LEGO sent us recently that we'll be building after that. We've got a couple ideas, sets, and some other things that hopefully you guys will be interested in checking out. Yeah, the next couple builds will definitely be one weekend builds that we'll get it there'll be one and dones, so to speak. We do have one larger set that LEGO sent us that will probably be a couple weekends. You can probably guess what that is, but I won't say it for now. I'll let you guys just speculate a little bit. And when we get to the point where we reveal it, you'll see if you're right or not. So thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you had some fun. Hopefully more fun than I had building the repetition here. And now I've got to find a place to display this for a long time and make sure I keep it well dusted, because I can see lots of dust accumulating in all these nooks and crannies. But we'll see you in 2 weeks. You know, obviously we'll see you online on BZPower, on our Discord, and everything like that. And so until then, this is going to be Black 6 from BZPower signing off. Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe, wear a mask, get your vaccine when you can, and catch you next time. Oh, and thank you for the subscription, Taraga Takanuva.